Good evening. It's a stormy evening. Good stormy evening to all of our fans out there. Welcome to Ryan and Brian's Excellent Halloween Horror Nights podcast, season 6, episode 14, or as I have in my show notes, Ryan and Brian's Excellent Halloween Horror Nights podcast. So apparently I need to call this something different. I've had the same thing for like a year and just noticed it said Ryan and Brain. Is that like a Pinky and the Brain spinoff? I don't know.
I mean, you know, if this doesn't work out, I think that's our next
That's
step.
our next rebrand coming soon. Season 7, watch out for Ryan and Brain. All right, so announcement week part 2 is over, and kind of not. Announcement week kind of is, kind of not.
I can hear the thunder. What an awesome atmosphere.
I know.
Perfect way to cap off announcement
Just to let people know, we could put thunder in this podcast. We didn't. This is all natural. So who knows if I lose this, we might have another. Actually, I don't have my Zoom recorder anymore, so I gotta.
There's Ryan. He's in that.
Yeah.
Ryan's in that right now.
As I was pulling into my house, I heard the thunder. It was like poltergeist. I saw the thunderstorm happening. My dog ran to me as soon as I came inside. He is up here with me. He's not on screen right now. He may come up and start bugging me at some point, but
love it.
But yeah, so we got 2 scare zones. We got a show announcement, a lack of a couple announcements. We'll see. Some people are saying that a full week announcement wasn't planned, but I don't know. They were really teasing at it. We're going to talk a little bit.
At this point, who knows?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit. I do have a little bit of speculation on that. I'm not sure at what point we will talk about that. So, But exciting stuff.
We thought we were we held off on purpose.
Yeah.
We thought we were in announcement week, and all signs pointed to announcement week.
Yeah,
and
they emailed all of the press and basically said, hey, stay tuned for a bunch of announcements this week.
Yeah.
And later they kind of were like, well, you got 3 announcements. That's like, and you're like, okay, but you did an announcement week prior. You started.
That's not announcement.
And then they even had the balls to one day, even at 10:33, be like, I bet you thought this was an announcement. And I was like, okay, I admire the troll, but yeah, like, is kind of what we were expecting.
Everyone laughed and then cried a little bit.
Exactly,
you know?
Especially because, Brian, we are so close. We are almost at the end of July.
Wait, we are almost exactly a month away, Ryan.
You're right. We are dangerously close to a month away, which we do have some updates on that towards the end of the podcast.
I lit the black cat.
Oh, the black cat.
Because I have my tickets, not because
the black
we're a month
flame
away.
Candle. Watch out for the Sanderson sisters.
But I did hear that they are in production on Hocus Pocus 3. I don't know if that's true or not.
I actually never saw Hocus Pocus 2.
My kids love it. I didn't mean to show it to them. They walked in while we were watching it. It's funny. You know, a lot of people didn't think it lived up to the hype.
I'm going to be watching so many horror movies in October because we're going to be on Baby Watch, so I just need to stay home.
We have a lot to watch. Yeah, Baby Watch with horror movie watch.
I know. That's how I do it. You know what? Maybe the loud noises will scare them out. You know, you just okay. I've heard it's one of the things that actually jump starts, you know, the labor process.
Yep. Go to a haunted house, Leah. If you hit your breaking point, you just go to Halloween Horror Nights.
She's not going, but
no, if she wants to have the baby, she'll go.
Brian, I just saw your Horror Nights mug, and this is completely derailing the podcast, but did you see what they just added to the tribute store?
No.
They added a certain piece of merch, and I want it so bad.
Oh my gosh. Like, how do I find it?
I sent it to Leah. I'm going to show it to you. Okay. I just need to find it and
send it. Well, while he does that, ladies and gentlemen, we are oh my.
It's a Jaws Tiki mug, currently available for $100 at the tribute store.
Buy it. I don't care.
Actually, it's available on Mondo for like $65 or $70. I've seen it before, and I've desperately wanted it, but we cannot justify that that price for a tiki mug. I desperately want it though. If I saw it in person, I would probably buy it. Honestly, we're just going to be honest here. I don't care how much it is.
If it's still there in a month,
tribute store is going to be closed. Summer tribute store will be closed by then.
Right.
Maybe it moves elsewhere. Maybe it goes back to where the film vault is, where they traditionally keep that merch. So maybe they'll keep it there. I would love to, because I'm somebody that, like, I have a lot less willpower in person.
Yeah.
So if I see something, especially because a lot of times when I'm at Universal, I am under the influence of or inebriated.
My merch game goes up when we get to the hotel. Last year when we got to Cabana Bay and I went, I just started trying to buy stuff in their gift shop, and we were like, guys, stop. There's going to be so much more shopping.
I do that in my hotel too. Sapphire Falls Hotel is where it always starts off for me.
Yep. Got to buy something.
And I'm like, you got to go, like, even if it's something random, like board shorts or like,
right.
Doesn't
matter.
But Brian, we have lots to talk about. We have 2 scare zones.
We do.
A show.
I am very excited. Yeah, we got not the show, but a show.
And you know what? Like, we're going to skip over the whole,
and no one was disappointed.
Yeah, we're going to skip over the whole, like, we don't cover shows gimmick this year. We'll go over it a little bit.
We're actually going to talk about it.
Will we go? Probably not, but we'll see. Depends on how bored we are.
I do know people in my group will go. We're going to have to do the thing when I go for Rest in Peace tour where some of them go see the show and some of us go to 2 or 3 houses and come back.
You got to do the houses. At RIP, you got to do the houses. And then and then we actually have some updates on both Brian and I actually have our tickets. Brian had his before us, but I actually bought my ticket.
You're actually going.
I officially am going, and actually, Brian, not to spoil anything, we won't go into specifics, but I actually have 2 different kinds of tickets.
2? What in the?
So we'll see.
Cat candle is this?
So multiple things going on this year.
Spence, I need another candle. He's got 2 different.
I know. I need to like put a candle inside my HHN 27 mug, and just to taunt you. But let's start off, Brian. So we have a scare zone announcement. This actually was out when we recorded our last one, but we wanted to save it.
Yeah.
That was a chock full episode of lots of content, so we kind of wanted to save it. So we have Torture Fair announced for HHN 33. They're doing individual scare zone announcements this year, which, you know what? Split it all up.
Awesome.
Do it all as separate announcements. The more announcements we get, the better. Also better for our content, better for numbers.
More fun.
Brian, I don't know if you have the show notes up, but would you like to read the synopsis for this scare zone?
Come one, come all, to the Renaissance Fair with the devious theme of medieval torture. Brave the gloriously gory homemade torture devices till you're put out of your misery.
Sounds great.
Sounds great. I like it. I think we don't have locations, right?
We do not have locations yet. So I was going to ask, where do you think this might be? I have an idea, but
I don't know.
This to me sounds like a great Hollywood scare zone, because Hollywood tends to be the showcase zone. We're going to have stages and people. Yeah. So, you have different people on stages and, they're in the stocks. They got the beheading. Perfect for that area. You don't need a ton of people walking around. And that is with the parade now. They can't fill it up with a ton of like things in the middle, so that'd be perfect.
It would be perfect. I think that's a good call. Where I want it to go, because the Renaissance Fair that I go to in Tennessee is very
dork.
Is very wooded. Wait, didn't special guest and my sister go to a Renaissance Fair? Oh no, they're going tomorrow. Nerds. I'm just kidding. But. It's wooded, and so obviously I want to put this in Central Park.
And that's not going there because the second scare zone is going to be there.
Because the second scare zone is going to be there,
which is Swamp of the Undead. In backwaters, Louisiana, you're about to be swamped by zombies born from the bodies of trespassers killed and dumped in a nearby bog. You know what? I didn't read the synopsis before. That's a very morbid. When I saw Swamp of the Undead, I just thought zombies, not like that they were like mob killed and because Brian, I'll tell you this. Do you know what my number one fear is besides dolls and sharks in swimming pools?
I don't, but does it have to do with backwater Louisiana?
It's being disappeared, as I like to call it.
Oh.
Which you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like Breaking Bad or Ozark where it's like, a guy just shows up and then puts you in one of those, like cuts you up into little pieces, puts you in a bag and like throws you.
And you're gone.
And like, just like, no one ever knows. You don't get a funeral. You're just a missing person. And it's just like, and so that's my, like.
It's quite the fear.
Yes.
Right?
No. I watch too many shows. And plus my wife watches way too many true crime shows. And I'm like, I can never watch this because that is like my thing. I'm like, you know what? Just, if you're going to kill me, like, just shoot me and like leave my body. Like, at least, like, do that. But like,
let there be a remnant.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to be disappeared. So. So this actually triggers a little bit for me, but obviously this is going to be in New York, even though it takes place in Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's going to be in New York. We have the trees, and we actually already have some set pieces that are going up. It looks like some fog lights and all. So, I mean,
it definitely is likely. And, you know, I just hope one of the actors is yelling, "Stay out of my swamp." You know, we AI'd this a little bit. It's a little close. I'm going to take the win,
I know.
I think. You know,
well, I mean,
AI
Brian,
did know
I will
somehow.
say after the Quiet Place hint in the podcast, and, you know, we got Torture Fair, kind of close to Shrek.
Right.
And then we have Swamp. I mean, like, does this confirm that they listen to our podcast?
I think it's confirmed at this point. There's too many. If
Brian, do you remember
birdhouse?
Brian, I know.
Find a birdhouse in this home.
Brian, we did. There actually was a leak, so we actually know all the scare zones. But was there a birdhouse in there? I didn't see one, but maybe
no. But if there's like an actual wooden birdhouse in any of the houses,
in Japan in the 80s, you're like, oh, come on. But Brian, I'm terrible. It's our podcast email is what? Ryan Brian HHMpod at Gmail.
Yeah,
I believe so. So Universal, if you're listening, just send that media pass our way. You know what? You know, if not, just just email me. I'm happy with an email. I just want to know.
Right.
I want to know that we're being listened to out there. That you appreciate us. We have given you permission on this podcast before, verbal permission to use any of our ideas. So
we're never gonna
go
come
for
after
it. You know, they're cheap.
They're cheap.
They're not all good, but
no. But I do think Swamp of the Undead has high potential for me.
Yeah, already top of the scare zone list for me.
Top of the scare zone list. Tortured Fair, I do hope to see some blood and guts. You know, that's something that can sometimes be missing from this event. They used to go all in on it back, you know, in other decades. And I think both of these, you know, it's hard to get super excited about scare zones right now. You know, the parade's back, and even the year that we had amazing scare zones, they didn't really follow up at the same level the next year. So I don't know. What it was last year. That memory just came back. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Last year, leaving the park, one of the characters in I think it was Hollywood. I know it's so weird. This doesn't feel like last year. This memory is way too like vivid for me to think that it was last year, but it had to be, because I was on the phone with Abby ranting because this little kid was there, and like one of the creatures in that area came up and like pretended to be afraid of the kid.
Oh.
And they got a photo with him, and I was like, no, I just, you know, PG-13, bro. So anyway, but yeah, 2 scare zones. No other scare zones?
So we got announcements Monday and Tuesday, and nothing happened Wednesday or Thursday. We did get that troll post, I think, on Thursday, or was it Wednesday? One of the days.
This week was a blur.
Yeah.
I was in Nashville.
So, Brian, my question is, what do you think? Do you think there was more originally planned, or do you think that it truly was just 2? It would be weird if they were going to announce 2 in one week, that they would do them back to back.
Back to back. That's the only thing that doesn't make sense.
And I will say that, so we aren't super connected as far as like inside sources, but I did see several people that were close to that do have inside sources kind of post that there might have been some last minute change ups.
Yeah.
We do have a rumored IP scare zone, which could have been affected by
anytime there is IP, that's the easy conclusion, right? Something got messed up.
Something that has to be changed or whatever, or it could be something with the scare zone itself. We don't need to, I don't necessarily want to go too much into this, but we will, you know, for those that know Halloween Horror Nights history in years past, whenever there's been some sort of type of major historical event, if there's something related to that might be coming to the thing, they'll drop it. And we are recording this after a very historical event. And maybe there's something that had to, you know, be done with that. I know, for example, like I watched the finale of The Boys on Thursday, and if you watched it at the beginning, there was a huge disclaimer talking about that. Cause I mean, heck, honestly, good for them for still airing it. Cause I'm actually surprised they still did.
But,
you know,
but also not with that show as well.
And you know, but Horror Nights tends to actually stay very. They don't try to like, you know, stay with history or with current events or anything. They try to stay away from that. You know, that's why we lost Eddie as like an official, you know, icon.
there's been several moments where things have been changed, and not just Universal. We've worked for other amusement parks and haunts that do the same thing, that change things.
Oh yeah, remember Virginia. That happened with a shoot that we did in Virginia, and
literally we accidentally recreated a shoot of something that happened in that state right at that time.
Like,
we couldn't release
it was like right after we shot it, something real actually happened, which is
happened
horrifying. That when you create a horror event, that sometimes it happens in real life. So it's a shame.
And there's a weird, and the reason we're staying away from this, there's podcasts that talk about this because it gets into that whole argument. Where do you draw the line? What do you do? Because there have been things pulled. I mean, you remember people got in trouble for the psychiatric themed haunts that one year, and that's like the theme. That's what we haven't seen Psychoscarpy. And so where is that line? But I respect Universal for staying respectful.
And
so
we don't know anything. We're not saying that they did do any of this. We're just saying that
if you look at convenient, the IP rumored scare zone and what main IP that has been a scare zone before could be in that, I don't think it's far-fetched.
So
now,
do I think
that's what it is?
We don't know anything. This is pure.
I have no idea.
As I told people, I'm like, this is 100% pure speculation. But it has happened before. So we were just going from past knowledge of what may have happened.
What may have happened.
Maybe they had planned for only doing two.
Literally could just be an IP.
Or maybe something fell through. Hey, everybody knows Blumhouse is probably going to be the IP that's coming, but like maybe something just happened where they're like, what, not this year. We had to delay our slate, and
the best thing is all of this could be wrong.
And the great thing is if a scare zone has to be pulled at the last minute. Now I know that there's thought and planning to these things, but a scare zone's a lot easier to come up with something new than a house. They don't have to worry about giant set pieces and anything. They can kind of just, all right, we have a killer scare zone.
Right.
Chainsaws are here. It's
the only reason I think the only reason it feels weird if people are like, well, if you don't know why you're discussing, if you're new here, you don't know why, because the Monday, Tuesday announcement was weird to not be followed up, then to have what our next topic is, a show announcement. On Friday. So it was just weird. I don't know. And I didn't really get to pay attention to the community too much because this week was crazy with everything that had happened, and then I had to travel for work, and I'm tired. So I did, however, I wanted to say, I've now caught up on all of the Discovery Universal podcasts.
Yes, I did as well.
Absolutely loving those.
I am incredibly more hyped for Quiet Place now.
Yeah, got me so hyped for Quiet Place. And
Good
I
job.
can't remember if I mentioned on the last episode, they talked about in Monstros.
Oh, yeah.
They played with the sound a lot in that one. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if some of the strategies they're using, because you'll see that. You'll see them try a few things out, like the hallway and other things, in one or two houses. Trying to do it two completely different ways. But I loved it. The candy one, I'm super excited for. And
I'm still, we'll see when the official map drops, but I'm still.
Yeah. The location, I'm having trouble picturing.
That's kind of the thing. It's like whenever I go back to it, I'm like, if this was in a soundstage,
all day
excited, but if it's
it would have gone way up,
especially after the
list.
Thing where you're like, all right, you have an entire behind the scenes where you're at this giant candy factory and all these set pieces, and you're like, okay, so you can't. Maybe they can. Maybe they figure something out. I don't know.
I don't know.
Playing with it, but we do have a show. We will cover this. I would say probably really quick. Our fans aren't the biggest show people. I did the show last year. Wasn't crazy about it. Not planning on doing it this year. I will say though that from the description of this one, this actually sounds a little bit more interesting to me. So this one was Nightmare Fuel's coming back. It's called Nocturnal Circus. So it is a little bit of a different theme than it was the past 2 years. And the synopsis for this one is step right up to a dark circus, a new nightmare that carries with it a sinister curse. It's a thrilling spectacle of pyro and aerialists. So, of course, that last sentence there, it's going to be Nightmare Fuel.
You know what to expect.
You know exactly what's going to be. It's going to be a little bit of a different story. It's a new nightmare. So, I mean, the thing was that...
But it's a fun theme.
Yeah, and they did say and somewhere else that, it's going to be more rock songs and all. So, depending on the set list, they might grab me in again. I am... Brian, well, you know what? This is a perfect segue unless you have anything more about the shows.
Nope. We need another show.
Yeah, which we can get into, but I guess before I get into that, so when do we think the final drop will be?
I mean...
Or I guess when will we have everything? Will it be into August? We still have one more week in July.
I would have said yes if the event wasn't actually officially starting in August now, not just employee preview. If they do it the first week in August, that'd be crazy. I mean, that's just crazy at that point because it's so close.
Well,
to
we
time.
still have a house. Like
usually
I'm like, we still have a house that we're not really sure why it hasn't been announced yet. It's a dual coast house.
Right.
At least
which is why I thought when I said, where's our announcement on Wednesday, I thought maybe we were getting the dual coast house announcement.
Yeah, and also, you know, it's like, okay, well, maybe you just save the big announcement for Thursday, and then you do, 2 scare zones, a house, and a show. All right, but...
And we don't know what the house is.
We don't.
But there's some clues on screen right now. Get it? Because it's black and white. Even though the one that they're probably going to do isn't. But why? And this is the weird one every time, because it goes to the argument of if it is what everybody thinks it is, how is it? It's their property. What are they waiting
Brian,
for? Why not?
I was texting you about this.
Yeah.
So everybody knows. So Universal Monsters is the last one that's rumored for this. It's been there every year for the last 5 years since 29. Yeah. And it was even there. It was one of the 2 houses they had in the first year 30. So like we've had it for a while now, so it's a pretty consistent thing. But something that the Universal has always stood by is that it is an IP house. Like they're like, this is not original. And while the fans view it as original because they're always original stories, they have said on podcasts before that they don't necessarily, as a theme park, can do whatever they want with these monsters. They still have a monsters team at Universal that they have to get permission to use these things.
Therefore, it's not original. So it is licensed property.
We hypothetically could have had a monsters announcement this week that maybe got shooken up by an IP. And also, Brian, you have to remember that we also have the Epic factor about it as well, because we have a new legacy of monsters going into Epic. So maybe does that conflict with what they've already announced? Do they want to focus on the new monsters? Do they want to focus on the old monsters? Do they want nothing to do with it? Do they want to just do a generic monsters house? Who knows? Maybe they want to pull it all together because they think it might be too confusing for brand.
Yeah, it's very possible. When they did Monsters Land and they didn't announce anything, I was shocked. But then also I thought, well, now we're not going to get that house till the next Epic Universe announcement because they've got to put distance. But who knows? Who knows what's holding them up? They might be being told conflicting things.
And nothing could be wrong. And maybe this week we get it. And I mean, I'm excited for it. I won't go into the rumors about what specifically it is. But I will say that from that, it sounds actually kind of interesting. I'm always down for more monsters. I would love to see some sort of representation from Gilman. Always wanted the creature, but we'll see. I think we're gonna get. I say house announcement before the end of the week.
I think so. I think we'll get something this week. I think we'll have everything by the time July ends.
I would love that, but we only have one more. Well, actually, I guess we have like a day or so in the following week, but
we did side note, and I talked about this last time. We did finally end our step challenge, but we're getting ready for HHN, getting into those 20,000 steps a day, and you got to get your legs ready to go.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I got my nice shoes. I haven't been training, haven't been walking that much. We'll probably pick up the walking here soon. One of my friends is going to be moving close by, actually the street over from us. Jacob will be moving the street over. I'm moving him tomorrow morning. And so hopefully maybe we can incorporate some HHN walking into our workout schedule. So
love that.
Yeah, it should be good. I think I kind of agree with you that I think that we should have a full drop by the end of the week. But we'll see. So that leaves us with the last topic for the night.
The last.
I was talking about possibly seeing the show. I might be seeing the show because, Brian, right now I have up to 9 nights planned.
9 times?
9 times, which would actually be my record.
That's crazy.
I think 8. Now, correct me. Hey, you know what? Other people have been listening to this for 6 years. I could be wrong. 8's the number that's been sticking in my head. But
I think so.
But yeah, so I actually I did it. I bought Rush of Fear with Express.
You got the Rush of... Okay. So you were between some of them, some of the prices. The one sold out. You didn't know what you're going to do. How did you land on Rush?
So Rush of Fear I got because ultimately it was the Saturdays that got me.
Yeah,
so with my new job, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to take any time off. Now, a week later, or I found out that they're letting me take a little bit of time with that, which is great. So I can do more for it. Because originally I was like, oh, I might only be... My thing was I was talking to people and I'm like, all right, well, I could do a partial Friday night, leave after 5, get there at like 10, and do like a little bit of a partial. And then Sunday I can only do a partial. So why would I buy a frequent fear? Because I can't really do full nights. And then suddenly it hit me. Right. I'm like, they sold out of all the frequent fear ones, except for Rush of Fear. And I'm like, it's too expensive. It's $600. But I'm like, I try to keep it at about $100 or less a night average. Yeah. And then I started doing the math and I'm like, you know what? I could just go.
Like, wait a minute.
I'm like, that gets me Saturdays. And I'm like, do I like going every Saturday? Not really. But you know what? That gives me, well, I'm going to be gone one of the weekends. I'm like, that gives me up to 3 weekends that I could go on a Saturday. Right. Plus, Labor Day weekend is included in there. So that's the Sunday that I could do. And since I'm getting express, I don't have to worry about capacity as much. Right. You know, last year I had to worry about, okay, I can't go on this day because it's going to be too crowded, or why would I go on that day? It's a holiday weekend. Right. But now I'm like, oh, I got Express. So it doesn't really matter when I go. I can just use my Express, and hopefully the lines are shorter. But yeah, so I'm going to.
But either way, that's a great, I mean, baller ticket. I'm excited to hear about your experience with that. And I mean, I don't know. This whole year has been kind of a cluster with the tickets. And. So
well, even you know, so me and my entire group ended up getting Rush of Fear. Now, some of us might split off just because they want to get frequent fear. They're hoping to upgrade to frequent fear if more become available.
Okay. And now can you put that credit to it?
Yes. So you can just upgrade your pass. So as long as in the past, I actually did this one year where I got Rush of Fear, and they said as long as you didn't use use a Saturday, they'll let you upgrade to frequent fear plus. Now I don't know if the policy is the same. Right, but at least before the event, before the event even opens, they will let you upgrade or return your Rush of Fear to get the Frequent Fear Plus. They understand what's going on there. Again, I'm not guest services. Don't quote, whatever. This is just what we've heard. So always kind of, keep your receipts and all. But
I mean, we talked all year. We didn't know what Ryan's year was going to look like. At one point, it was, normal.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had time saved off. I had like 2 weeks of time.
He had all that, and then it became, does he even go one night? Yeah. And then now I'm glad that you still get your multi-nights, because that is the best way to see this event.
Yeah, so Brian, I'll get to go opening weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the last weekend of Rush of Fear, I'm definitely going to get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm hoping to get a little bit, depending on time off, I might be able to get a little bit Wednesday night. Maybe the full night, but we'll see. At least a little bit Wednesday night. So that gives me a total of 8 nights. But I said 9 nights.
Wow. Yeah.
9. So something else happened. So we have another ticket. So one of those weekends would have an extra. Wait a second. Maybe the opening weekend I'm going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what's happening Thursday, Brian?
What's happening Thursday is our audience is probably so tired of the whiplash of back and forth on this. The back and forth.
Ryan and Brian are officially going to Premium Scream Night.
So Premium. I missed the Premium Scream Night. I'm too excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Ricky Bobby.
Tickets are bought. Planes are booked. Hotels are booked.
Hotel is booked. We're going to Premium.
We are going, Brian. I got the time off.
Whether it is. And Ryan didn't know. I surprised him on the last episode, and I surprised him on the episode before that, and it's been back and forth. And
I surprised you first.
He called. Well, yes, you surprised me first, and then it wasn't happening. And then my wife said, "No, you guys need to go." She actually listened to us complain and talk about. Yeah. She was one of the ones who got mad at you over the $20 thing, but it was principle. Okay. She's like, "It's $20." I was like, "Yeah, but." And we were kind of over it. And she just woke up one day. She's like, "Nah, it doesn't make any sense. You guys got to go." And that's what happened. And I had no say in it. Ryan kept asking me questions, and I don't
No, you didn't even have
the
answer. So
this was all booked without me knowing.
Well, thank you, Abby. And yes, sorry, if there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I'm a very petty person, and I have a very strong internal justice system. So if I feel like I've been wronged, there is nothing that will move me. There's nothing that will move me. It doesn't matter how small and insignificant it is. I will not, like, it could be $1, and I'm like, nah, I'm sorry. You told me that it was going to be this. You need to stand by that. So the dad is strong in me, apparently, already.
I love that. And that will be a good trait going down the road as a father.
Yes.
But we are officially going, whether it is a cluster and we get one house or it's underbooked and we get 30 houses, I don't care. I'm so excited.
And I'm with you, Brian. I'm just excited to go and experience it. It's the very first year that something's being offered that we get to go and experience.
It's the first time, yeah. And I think
I'm part of my soul believes that it's going to be like one of those like once in a lifetime HHN events where it's like it's going to be low capacity and we're going to have like the greatest HHN night of our life, and then next year it's going to be sold out in a minute.
It's going to be sold out, and
it's going to be full too.
It was Abby's big thing. Even if the event doesn't go how it was supposed to because not enough people went, everybody's going to rave about it. It's going to get booked up next year.
Well, that's the thing. It's like with a lower capacity, it's like, okay, less line. Like, I don't even care. Like, move the cast from one house to the other and give us like time in between. Like, I mean, they're charging enough for it. So they're obviously going to pay like everybody, close off half the park and then like
it's another night, because here's the thing, you have team preview, which is a crazy thing because that'll still happen, I think, Wednesday, and then they'll get to work through some kinks, and then they'll get our group on Thursday, and then
we get free food, we get
free food and free parking, like.
And Brian, you know what? Like, we get to do our first night of Horror Nights together.
Yeah, which I don't know the last time that you and I saw the event.
Yeah, I've tagged along with you before. I've tagged along with you before. Like, actually,
have we ever had
your RIP tour year, because that was the one night I went, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the. Oh yeah, I remember that time. Because. Yeah, you and I were doing everything for the first time together. So everybody in our group was asking us afterwards because they wanted to get a sneak preview of the podcast.
Right, yes. And so it's rare. It's rare for that to happen. And I am so excited. And also, I love my private rest in peace store. I love it. But it's, you're catering to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody bought into it. And so I don't get to have the nights anymore where I just do whatever I want. And
and I mean,
this event...
You and I are the same mindset with this event.
Right. Yeah. We come up with our strategy, and it's when we're in the park, whoever's there, we're calling each other about it. So we're on the same page, and I can't wait. And we're
already strategizing about our strategy for that night. So I think I changed. I think Frozen Empire is why I landed on for first house.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you go first? And I think Frozen Empire as well. And Quiet Place are going to be the big ones.
Specifically because this event's going to be hardcore fans, and they're going to run to the originals first. And while everything in me says go to Slaughter Cinema too.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people, I think
that's where and also the sound stages are right there. Go over and take care of the sound stages. I mean, it's always a solid strategy is getting the sound stages.
Yep.
And also, there's what's this event even look like? Do they just have random stands open?
How does the food thing work? Again, it could be crazy. Ryan, I want you to know we might not eat. I'm just letting that.
That's fine.
We might have to big lunch. No, the other weird thing.
Well, we'll see.
If
we get solo runs, if we do indeed get to go by group, and you and I get to go in the houses together, we're doing as many houses as freaking possible.
I'm not getting my hopes up for that because.
But if it's like they're pairing us with like
if
6 other people. Yeah. Then I'm okay stopping more for food and drinks because it's like, you know what, let's experience this whole event.
If it's just, but if they're actually pulsing each group.
Yeah. Hey, are you by yourself or are you with, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, then everybody in line just starts saying, I'm a group of line.
I don't think people can handle it. People talk a lot, but when you actually get to do a house by yourself.
We've talked about this before. It
doesn't matter how much of a veteran you are. Like, I love it and hate it simultaneously.
Yeah. When you walk into an HHN house by yourself, it is one of the most unnerving experiences.
It doesn't matter what it is.
No. And what's crazy about it, because I've had it at the end of the night and the beginning of the night, if the house has time to reset and you walk in and you don't see anybody, it is so stressful.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to get triple scared.
That's when you get lost.
Yeah, you
end up going into wrong like back areas, and then people come out at you. Like it's like so you're actually like they are mazes at that point where you're like lost.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, where do I go? They are set up
intense.
for congas, and you don't realize how much they're set up for congas until you do one on your own.
Yep. You walk into oh my gosh, yeah.
It's the best. So hopefully that can happen. So what that means going forward too, some things to think about. This will be my first time in a really long time not knowing what the strategy is for the event of the year. Nobody knows where people are going to go because it'll be opening weekend. You don't know who's going to what house. Now, Ryan, I do miss my favorite holiday, and I'll probably do it on Team Preview the night before, unless you're in town. I love just sitting back, putting on a horror movie, and watching people's reactions on Twitter. I just love seeing what people say. I love watching the house rankings change throughout the night and people hyping stuff up. I think
that could be what you're doing
fun.
In the hotel while I'm driving down.
Yeah. Yes. And then on top of that, we are going to bring our stuff down so that we can do a show before and hopefully a show after. Just on first thoughts, I don't know. We'll be able to take some pictures that I don't have to steal photos, so I'll actually be able to put stuff up on the YouTube. But this is the main reason I'm excited. And I feel really bad for listening to everybody going on the Rest in Peace tour. My HHN trip just got bumped up by 2 months.
Yeah.
Like I've been like, oh, HHN's in October, and now it's next month. Yep. That's just crazy.
Well, and for me, it's like, okay, I'm officially going now, and I'm getting to go. I went from like maybe not going at all, maybe going one night to like, okay, now I might be going the most I ever go. Because honestly, Brian, there's a chance that like weekend 3. Like, I probably couldn't take an additional time off. Yeah. But I might be able to do, like, a Friday night, Saturday, and part Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, now, I don't know. We'll see at that point, I mean, we, as of today, I believe, we're in the 3rd trimester.
Okay.
So,
congratulations.
Like, we'll see how things go and, like, whatever. By then, I don't want to be gone too much.
Right.
With a wife who's, at that point, in September, 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. Man, that storm is still
no, it's like,
it's crazy.
So we'll see. But I mean, honestly, she's been the one pushing me to go more and more. So
that's
and
sweet.
Also depending on quality
let's take a moment. Shout out to our supportive wives who help all
for
of
those
this
that like listen. It's like legitimately. I'm like, I told her, I'm like, hey, I will stay home. I don't need to go. It's fine. And she's the one that's like, you need to go. You need to do this. I'm like, I'll like save up money. She's like, no, it's fine. You just use our money. I'm all right. Like, so all-star wives here. But thanks, Abby, for the tickets, getting everything booked, and
and she's going on some girls trips, and she's like, just go on a short guys trip because I don't get to ever do the event with you as much anymore.
No, and it'll be a good time, and if you stop doing the RIP tour the day after my anniversary.
Yeah.
Every year, like, can you come? And I'm like, that's like my anniversary. Sorry.
Yeah. Now the only thing is the like anxiety of actually just making it there and all.
I know. I'm already starting to look at doing maintenance to my car because I'm like, my car's going to break down on the way down. That's going to do it. I know it is.
Yeah, that and I almost just like went and tried to catch COVID right away. I was like, because I get about a year buffer after I catch it. Before I catch it again. And again, I try very hard not to. I've just my luck. I've missed a trip this year because we caught both flus. You have 2 young kids. It's what happens. And so it's in a dangerous window, Ryan, because my kids go back to school August like 14th, 13th. Oof. Yeah. And so I was like, if you guys are going to bring it home right away. So I don't want to get sick, but hey, put someone on retainer for you. I'll send that ticket's not going to waste. No. Someone's going to Premium Scream with Ryan.
I have people in Orlando I could probably call at the last minute. Leah just goes with me. Pregnant.
We had a baby
at Horror Nights.
At Horror Nights, that couple that got married at that dead end.
Could
you
imagine like going to a scare zone and seeing a woman giving birth? You're like, oh my gosh, the effects.
Oh gosh.
All right. Well, on that note, Brian, hopefully we have another podcast.
Soon. Next
week, hopefully. We'll see. And then, Brian, the thing is that they need to go ahead and drop everything because we need to do our hype list.
Yeah, I can't do a hype list until I have everything.
No.
And that last house.
I was thinking about that. I was like, wait, we don't have that much longer. We have to record our hype list episode soon. So
yeah,
hopefully we get that information, or maybe we just have a house that we just get to find out the night of. We'll see. We'll find out second, I guess.
We'll find out. So, yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We made it through the storm. We didn't lose power. So thanks for listening. We will see you in a week, probably.